That is the $1,000,000 question, and it's just about focusing today, and you just focus on the present, right? What can we do? We can go out and have a great walkthrough, and then, for the limited amount of practice plays we have, play as fast and communicate and execute as well as we can, and then control what we can control. We know we're going up against a great offense in a tough environment, and there's going to be some ups and downs, and just stay steady through it and play together.
What do you remember about like the mood in the room as you guys reviewed with the team for the first time after that Eagles game?
It was tough. The NFL is a humbling league. You're only a week away from being humbled, and that was a humbling night. And a game got away from us a little bit in the end, and but how we've had some games like that, unfortunately, this year. And I always say, just stick your face in the fan, make the corrections that we need to do moving forward, and let's do it as coaches and players. Try and put them in better positions, and players need to make the plays that they're supposed to make, and that's all you do, and just correct it and move forward, and hopefully you play better next week.
Usually after a loss, when you talk to guys, ask them what happened in the locker room, they say we got to watch the film. But after that Eagles game, the defense seemed to really understand exactly what had happened. How big was that in terms of for the defense understanding that to be able to turn the corner the next week?
Yeah, I think it's just you just got to play consistent, good football, and some of the stuff that obviously they're a great team and they cause it all, but some of the stuff we got to play better techniques, and we can coach a lot better as well. So I think the first step in correcting anything is just understanding what the issue was, and the guys understanding that is a big step.
How do you feel like you've grown in your first year in this role, and how have you also allowed yourself and the younger players the grace and the patience to work through some of those growing pain moments that have occurred?
Yeah, no doubts, Stu. And it's just, for myself, it's just the ability to be flexible. Understanding what our defense is, the ability to adapt and adjust to the types of offense that we're playing. And I always talk about trying to put players in the best position, and the flexibility to adjust the scheme kind of within the year based on some of the things that we did over the last 3 or 4 years that, were very comforting to me, and kind of getting out of that comfort zone and kind of changing up some looks and doing some different things. So I'd just say the ability to be flexible.
As you look back on this first season as a coordinator, is there a piece of advice that you found that you got after the promotion that's been particularly helpful?
It was that's funny. It's funny you asked that. When I was I think it was in OTAs, because we were back at the Kowloon building. Jason Garrett was just there, just kind of watching, just kind of hanging out and stuff, and he kind of stopped me in the hallway and just said, "Hey, Sean hired you to be you. You don't try to be anybody else, and be the best version of yourself." And that's why I keep trying to tell myself, just be the best version of me, and and Sean entrusted me with the job, and do the best way, do it the best job you can. Don't try to be anybody else.
On Monday, 9 sacks, really good defensive performance. At what point were you able to enjoy it and kind of see your game plan come together for that?
Yeah, I think any coach would tell you till that clock hits 0, you're not really enjoying anything. So obviously the locker room after the game, and it was cool to have the families and some friends there, and it was a different trip home, with all the families on the plane, and not our typical team plane sitting in your assigned seat, so it was definitely an enjoyable flight home.
Maintaining gap integrity is something that we've heard a lot with respect to the Eagles. How do you make sure that that's achieved specifically against the Eagles front?
Yeah, it's just that. Understanding what your gap is, understanding how to play it, knock back at the line of scrimmage, and that's just, we talk about good run defense, and just playing good, sound run defense, good fundamentals, and a lot of the things in that game came down to that. And now, I will say they made us play that way. It's not like guys were jumping out of gaps just because they were just doing their own thing or because they wanted to, so it's being able to strain and do your job and focus every single play.
In terms of like what you guys did against the Vikings, where you're mixing blitz packages, bringing corners and stuff like that, is there an equivalent to that on stopping the run game? Or do you guys just have to execute better, or schematically, can you do anything really different to kind of slow down Barkley?
Yeah, I think it's always just kind of where do you want to put your resources, right? There's no perfect defense, and I think we all know that. Sean knows that, so if you want to devote a lot of resources to the run, they obviously have some really good receivers and a really good quarterback, and really good skill really all across the board. So just where you want to do put your resources, and what you want to emphasize on stopping. And there's certain things, certain tendencies teams do that you might have a certain game plan to go against each week, and that's what we're always going to try to do.
Sean told us yesterday that he expects Bobby to play on Sunday. How big is his presence been this year in general, and then especially in this matchup?
It's huge. I think he's been one of the unsung heroes of the defense. Giff and AC have done such a great job with him, and he's kind of become a linchpin of the front. And his smarts, his ability to move around, his ability to play stout with his hands at the line of scrimmage is going to be something that's key and critical this week, as it is every week for him.
Last one. What you've seen, Jared, is this something you saw in training camp? Is there anything, Jared first, what you've seen in the way he's playing now, is that something you saw in training camp?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I would say really in OTAs, training camp, we kind of saw the flashes throughout. He's been a pretty consistent guy. Really, the first day I remember just practicing in helmets on. Obviously, being the first-round pick, he's the guy that everyone wants to see and look at. You knew pretty quick. You're like, okay, we got a guy here that we think is going to be pretty good. Now, you obviously got to see him do it, and he's strung together some really good performances. And like we always say, it's playing within the scheme of the defense and educating him on how he can affect the game, even if he's not necessarily having the sack production that he wants.
Well, thanks, Garrett. We've asked you a lot. Barkley obviously was a huge story that first game, but in terms of Jalen Hurts as a complement to that, what's the challenge with him?
Oh, it's tough. Obviously his elite trait, being able to use his legs and create off schedule, not only the quarterback design runs that they have, but anything. If he drops back to pass, he's always a threat to run. So, he's a nightmare to play against, and he's obviously very smart pre-snap as far as knowing where to go with the ball, and very decisive in his decision-making. He's very calm back there in the pocket. He's got a great O-line that he trusts, and, he'll stand back there forever if you let him. And so he's just a really tough guy to play against, and, he's had success against us really the last 2 times we've played him, and, so looking to give him a few more challenges this time.